You are a longtime Silicon Valley founder, resident, observer. How well do the powers that be in tech have their feet under them when it comes to responding to political pressure, to this new specter and threat of interference from overseas? Is it getting better over there, or is it just wave after wave?
I think it's safe to say that we're definitely in a brand new world. There's an old adage in the security world, vulnerabilities always come in groups. We're now seeing probably what is just the beginning of privacy concerns and various forms of concerns that come out of that. We should be ready in Silicon Valley for increased attention from the government, from national security to regulators. And I would say the honest assessment is we were caught a little bit flat-footed, but there's a lot of attention being paid at this point.
Now, you've thought about security for a long time. Encryption was part of what got you interested in starting PayPal. I wonder, have the events of the past year changed the way you have conversation at a firm about how you protect customer data, or the way you talk to the startups that you invest in about their security efforts?
Yeah, the one thing actually that hasn't changed is my attitude towards security and the Bible thumping that I did 20 years ago at PayPal, how the only thing that we have to lose is customers' data, customers' privacy. Their information is the number one most important thing that we must protect. That was true for the old job. This is true and extra true today. So every time I have a chance, first things first, protect the data.
Max, in light of this conversation, in light of the fact that we've seen tech stocks sell off as dramatically as we have in the last couple of months and all the volatility around that, do you think investors have been overreacting to all of these headline risks around the sector, or do you think that their concerns are well placed?
Actually, I happen to think that they are overreacting, and it's hard to blame folks for taking money out of the market when tech has provided such an amazing opportunity for returns for such a long time. But reality is, tech is still where the innovation is, tech is still where the returns are. And I generally happen to think that once the cooler heads prevail, you will see more capital pouring into tech stocks, because that really is where the expansion still resides.
And certainly, as we're in the holiday season right now, we're seeing a lot of consumer behavior shift toward tech, whether it's omni-channel, people using their phones in store, picking up in store, all that. Affirm is very much in the business of enabling that kind of commerce. What kind of consumer behaviors are you seeing this season compared to years past? Any slowdown, difference in the kind of budgeting or responsibility people are taking?
That's actually exactly what gives me the optimism. So at Affirm, we primarily lend money at the point of sale for folks as they decide to buy something that is a carefully considered purchase. We provide the simplest, most thoughtful alternative to a credit card. And what we've seen in the volume of this Cyber Monday and surrounding days is it more than tripled compared to last year, while the overall volume of sales that we've witnessed in 2018 so far has a little bit better than doubled. And so what we're seeing is the US consumer is still shopping strongly, the consumer purchasing is still rising, people are still headed into the holidays with elevated spirits and more gifts to buy. So generally, I feel the US consumer is quite strong, people have confidence. But the fact that they're buying in credit, perhaps you can think of that as well. Maybe they're seeing that recession some number of quarters out in the future.
Max, do you see consumers sort of approaching loans and lending with the same behavior as previously, especially when you've got a rising rate environment?
I'm not sure that consumers fully adjust their behavior based on the Fed's rate announcements, but we do see over the last decade, since the crash, since the '08 financial catastrophe, really, people have really adjusted their attitude towards buying on credits. There was a massive deleveraging that took place in the early days after the crash, and we're still in a very different world. People are buying more thoughtfully. People start to actually understand that things like deferred interest and promotional rates and really fine print that you're not supposed to read are in fact recipes for disaster. That's what pushed people into personal financial collapse, there's a major shift towards preferring debit cards instead of credit cards. Affirm is a product that was born from this notion of millennials actively staying out of buying on credit because they can't understand what the true cost of purchase will be. So there's a fair amount of change happening, and I think that's probably the most interesting place to be in finance and in fintech is in credit purchasing for consumers right now.